Imagine this: after losing thousands of tanks and armored vehicles, your army is now forced to charge into battle on motorcycles. It sounds absurd, but for Russian forces in Ukraine, this was their grim reality. In a bizarre attempt to break through Ukrainian lines, biker units stormed the front, but instead of glory, they rode straight into chaos, confusion, and a humiliating defeat. The failed Russian biker assault took place near Seversk in the Donetsk Oblast. Here, in a desperate attempt to break through Ukraine's well-fortified defensive lines, Russian forces launched a massive attack using around 50 motorcycles and light vehicles. Ukrainian defenders quickly adapted and inflicted significant losses on the advancing enemy. The lack of armored protection proved to be a critical weakness, and once the assault was detected, Ukrainian troops rapidly exploited this vulnerability. The light armored vehicles used by the Russians offered no real protection, leaving them fully exposed to drone strikes, artillery fire, and machine guns. One Russian BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicle involved in the attack became an early target for Ukraine's FPV drones and was swiftly destroyed, allowing Ukrainian forces to focus on the motorcycle units much earlier than anticipated. Interestingly, Ukrainian troops also successfully disrupted Russian drones using electronic warfare, downing nearly 20 Russian attack and reconnaissance drones, effectively denying them the ability to provide fire support or intelligence. Overall, this motorcycle assault marked yet another embarrassing failure in Russia's ongoing struggle to seize control of the area. The new, fast and light tactic proved just as ineffective as previous mechanized assaults, highlighting Ukraine's superior battlefield awareness and rapid response capabilities. Right now, Russia is changing its tactics on the battlefield. Instead of relying on tanks and heavy armored vehicles, Russian forces are now using small infantry groups with minimal gear, supported by drones. According to Major Viktor Trihubov, a spokesperson for Ukraine's military, this shift marks a clear trend as summer approaches, with fewer heavy assaults and more light equipment being used on the front lines. Trihubov also explained that this is now a drone war. Traditional electronic warfare systems are losing their effectiveness due to the rise of fiber optic drones and more mobile platforms. Even with advanced jamming systems, Russian forces can no longer rely on those tools to secure their positions. What matters now is speed and coordination between infantry and drones, but this approach has not delivered the results Russia hoped for. In fact, Russian troops have even started using motorcycles to launch fast attacks. However, these raids often end in failure, doing little damage before being stopped by Ukrainian defenses. Trihubov noted that the effectiveness of Russian infantry has also dropped significantly, mainly due to a lack of young recruits. The war has now dragged on for over 3 years, bringing heavy losses to both sides. For most of the conflict, Russia relied on conventional combined arms tactics, pushing forward with armored vehicles, supported by tanks and artillery, then dismounting for the final few hundred meters. But since April, something unexpected has been happening. Russian troops have begun attacking on motorcycles. The question is, why? First, let's look at their armored losses. Analysts at Oryx, a Dutch open-source intelligence site, believe Russia has lost around 4,400 armored vehicles during the war. Older models are now appearing more often in combat, and satellite images show many have been pulled from open-air depots. Still, it's estimated that around 3,800 remain. The motorcycles are meant to solve a different problem: visibility. Unlike the early days of the invasion, Russian troops are now under constant drone surveillance by Ukrainian forces. That means defenders can spot moving vehicles several kilometers away, and large groups traveling together. They're easy to detect and often attacked within minutes of forming up. By using motorcycles, Russia seems to prioritize speed over armor. Infantry ride into battle on dirt bikes or Desert Cross 1,000 to 3 all-terrain vehicles. Sometimes described as military golf carts, these Chinese-made vehicles can carry 4 troops quickly across rough terrain. Most trips cover less than 10 kilometers. The motorcycle troops move in small groups, usually 4 or 5 vehicles. They ride up to Ukrainian trenches, then dismount to fight on foot. Aside from speed, light vehicles are less vulnerable than heavy ones in Ukraine's minefields. These minefields have already destroyed many Russian tanks and armored vehicles. Smaller vehicles leave a lighter footprint, making it less likely they'll trigger anti-tank mines. And even if they do hit one, they might not detonate it. Most of those mines need at least 300 kilograms of pressure to explode. Motorcycle attacks are still risky for Russian troops. They are often hit by FPV drones, as seen in graphic videos on social media. Motorbike riders are also vulnerable to artillery and small arms fire. In one recent Ukrainian video, at least 20 destroyed motorcycles were shown. They had taken part in a failed attack near Voldar, a town in Donetsk. Even so, these assaults may cause fewer Russian deaths than the so-called meat waves, mass infantry charges used earlier in the war. When Russian troops have the element of surprise, or if Ukrainian forces are worn out, these fast motorcycle raids can take small bits of ground. But so far, they've gained very little. Unlike armored assaults, bikes can't force a major breakthrough. Once the surprise is gone, the riders can't push forward. These tactics break from Russia's usual combined arms approach. And while they may look like scenes from an action movie, they may not work on today's battlefield. Russia is shifting tactics. Instead of relying on heavy armored vehicles, they are now sending troops into battle on motorcycles and light all-terrain vehicles. This approach allows for faster movement and more flexible attacks, but it also comes with greater risk. These small, fast-moving units have little protection. Once the element of surprise is gone, they become vulnerable to drone strikes, artillery, and small arms fire. This shift in strategy reveals deeper issues. Russia is losing modern equipment and trained personnel. Motorcycles might work for quick raids, but they can't carry supplies, they can't hold territory, and they can't win a war on their own. Speed may offer short-term gains, but without strength and coordination, those gains are hard to keep. In the end, mobility alone isn't enough to change the outcome of the war.